What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another episode of NBA Weekly. I'm your host, Pee Wee the Plug, and the NBA is the gift that keeps on giving. We have another trade. This time around, my New York Knicks are getting involved, and we are acquiring Josh Hart from the Portland Trail Blazers for Cam Reddish, Svi Mykhailiuk, and a protected first-round pick. The first thing we have to talk about in this trade is Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish was acquired a year ago around the deadline, if not the day of the deadline. I can't remember off the top of my head, and it had the entire Knicks fandom excited. This is a young wing oozing with a bunch of potential. Went to Duke with RJ Barrett. They have the relationship. If Zion Williamson gets disgruntled, we can get the band back together in New York. Everything is looking good. We're going to put this dude in a position to really reach his fullest potential with Thibs. He's going to lock up defensively, get better, and grow offensively. We just got to steal. Even the entire NBA landscape was applauding for the New York Knicks. And I know a lot of y'all ain't New York Knicks fans, but if you're a New York Knicks fan, you understand how crazy it is to have the NBA community support a move that you do. All Knicks fans know being a Knicks fan entails in us being disappointed by our team and the NBA world and basketball community laughing and trying to humiliate us in any single way. So they even gave us props and credit for landing Cam Reddish, and there was a lot of fans of a lot of different teams that was like, man, why didn't my team go out and give up a pick to get Cam Reddish? But long story short, we brought on Cam Reddish, and he barely played. He just sat on the bench, and it was the weirdest thing we've seen. I still can't wrap my head around what exactly was going on, and I'm just talking about last year after we got him. We're not even on this year yet. And slowly but surely, we saw some flashes, some opportunities here and there. And, you know, just game after game, you got the entire Knicks fandom and fan base asking, like, why, when is Cam going to get unleashed? Why aren't we seeing Cam? Why aren't we seeing Cam? And Thibs talking about, you know, his rotation and this and that and the third, a bunch of bullshit. And last year kind of felt odd. But it was like, okay, it's okay. This year he'll get his opportunities. He'll get his chance. And at the beginning of the year, it really felt that way. I remember being on the road traveling for the beginning of the season. We had to go to San Francisco and LA for the opening games of the year. And I remember driving and being on the road in a Sprinter van and watching the Knicks versus Grizzlies. And I still remember Cam Reddish having a great game and him hitting that game-tying shot that sent the game into overtime. And that felt like New York Knicks fan base, the coming out party, I'll say. The coming out party for Cam Reddish to be in this rotation, to see exactly how effective he is and what he can be and what he can do for us. And it felt like the monkey was finally off of our backs. This is Cam Reddish introducing himself as a Knick. He had the number change. He said all the right things over the summer. He shot down that he requested a trade. He said, no, I want to be here. I love New York. We all happy. We all rolling. And after the first 10 games of seeing Cam Reddish start, he gets hurt. And I remember feeling like, man, that's not good. Because Cam Reddish is going to give up his spot. And surely, Quentin Grimes took control of that starting lineup, and we haven't looked back. And there's been all type of rumors and discussions on what exactly happened. Cam Reddish said something to an assistant coach about the way Thibs was playing him or using him, and the assistant coach went back to Coach Thibs, and we ain't seen Cam Reddish touch the floor for the Knicks yet. And there's a lot of people who are on two sides of the fence. You have one side that is believers in Cam Reddish and who see the potential, they see the talent, and they say, hey, that young man should be playing. He should be getting opportunities to grow and develop like all of the other young talent in this league. This dude is 6'8" with two-way ability and a very little bit of shot creation potential. The statistics over the first couple years don't show much, but you've seen flashes if you've watched him play to believe that there's some two-way ability and a little bit, just a little bit of shot creation there. At the least, you got just 3-and-D wing. Young 3-and-D wing with incredible size and athleticism who at the least will be able to knock down some corner shots, run up and down, and guard 3 positions on the floor, maybe even 4. But there's the other side of the fence where people are saying, hey, he didn't play much in Atlanta. They traded him for a reason. He didn't play a lot in New York. That had to be for a reason. maybe Cam Reddish just ain't that good. Maybe y'all just love the potential and he hasn't really shown much on the court that says he should be playing. And a lot of that is understandable. I understand where people coming from. But if you watch basketball, if you're into basketball, you can't honestly say that you feel like Cam Reddish was getting a fair chance and opportunity with the New York Knicks. We just saw Evan Fournier a few days ago have a breakout game out of nowhere. And he was asked, do you think you'll get a chance to get back into Thibodeau's rotation? And he was like, nah, probably not. It was just a one-night thing. And he compared it literally to a one-night stand, which was a sad thing to see. So I'm hoping that Cam Reddish can now start a new chapter in Portland under Chauncey Billups and get opportunity. And the one thing that I'm hanging on to is the fact that when I've seen Portland throughout the season, I've seen a bunch of different wings get opportunity. Whether that's Keon Johnson that I saw get opportunity, Shaedon Sharpe, Justice Winslow had a part early in this season when he was playing really good basketball. We've seen Trendon Watford, Jabari Walker, their second-round pick from this year's draft play. There is opportunity for Cam Reddish in Portland. And one of the biggest things and biggest needs that Portland has is length and size at the wing position. Portland has had Damian Lillard and CJ as a duo for a very long time, and even after they moved on from CJ, they now have Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons, two guys who aren't the best defenders, two guys who don't have the biggest size on the court to defend multiple positions, and they are needing size and length for the defensive side of the basketball. As good as Josh Hart was and as good as the moments he had for them, even he was 6'5". So again, Portland kept running into the situation where they just have this lack of size. It was Dame, CJ, Gary Trent. Then it went Dame, CJ, and Norman Powell. Then it went Dame, Anthony Simons, Norman Powell. Then it went Dame, Anthony Simons, Josh Hart. Now you have a legitimate 6'8" wing who is young and I think can be around. You can develop him. Anyway, any direction you take this Portland franchise, Cam Reddish can find a place to be in there and develop and give you some good opportunity to grow into somebody that can be a part of your future. If you pivot and trade away from Dame, I think Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Cam Reddish is a nice young core to start with, plus the package you're going to get for Damian Lillard. If you decide to keep Dame, you can hopefully get some input and some real development from Cam Reddish in the stretch of trying to make a playoff push. And I think Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Cam Reddish, Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic is enough size to have you play a little bit of a better defensive style of basketball, which is what we know Chauncey Billups is trying to do out there in Portland. And I think that's a good gift for the Portland Trailblazers. Josh Hart was on the last year of his deal. You end up getting a first-round pick back. Yeah, it has protections and whatnot, but it's still a first-round pick. You get a young player in Cam Reddish. Shafi Mikhailuk will probably be filler. You probably get another a three-point shooter, if nothing. And then in return for the Knicks, we get a guy that I think is going to fit into the culture of what Thibs like to do. He's going to be a workhorse, a guy who's going to do all of the little things that are needed to win basketball games, and most importantly, he has a high IQ. Former teammate of Jalen Brunson at Villanova, that's always a very good thing to bring in some guys that have a relationship for the locker room, for the morale of the team. But all in all, I think Josh Hart is going to fit in like a glove. And I love that he can put a spark behind Quentin Grimes, put a spark behind R.J. Barrett, and all of the other guys in there to compete and play their best basketball. Because if not, you now have a guy off of the bench who's going to be a fan favorite of your head coach. It has been long rumored for these two guys to link up for a very, very long time. Thibodeau was trying to get Josh Hart, I think, when he was in Minnesota. Josh Hart has spoken about it. He's spoken highly of Thibs and how he can see the fit between the two. And Josh Hart definitely reminds me of a Chicago Bull player from the Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah era, if I'm just being honest. And again, he's going to rebound. He's a guy that you can look up and, whoa, Josh Hart got 13 rebounds. He can guard 1 through 4. He's going to play a lot bigger than his 6'5" size says on the paper. The only thing that I have worries with Josh Hart is the perimeter shooting. The Knicks, we need perimeter shooting. We need shooting around Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, and Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart's shooting has came and went. When he first was picked up by Portland, he was shooting a 3-ball. He had some crazy performances when he first got to Portland when Dame was sitting out. He had like an 8 or 10 3-point game. He was letting it fly. This year, he hasn't had the same success, and you can see it kind of affecting his confidence because his 3-point attempts have dropped significantly. The percentage has dropped significantly, and that's going to be a big area that we're going to need as the Knicks. We need 3-point shooting. It's always been that way. And if Evan Fournier won't be in a rotation, we're possibly going to be trading him, possibly can be traded Obi Toppin. Who is going to be the guy that's going to step up and make perimeter shots for us outside of Quentin Grimes? Emmanuel Quickly and Josh Hart. We're going to depend on Josh Hart to make shots. So I'm interested to see how that is. All in all, though, I think the Blazers, they could win this trade depending on how things go with Josh Hart because, like I said, he's at the end of the year on his contract. So if he walks away from us, then it's like, man, the Portland Trailblazers could potentially get a first-round pick and Cam Reddish on top of that. So we will see. But I think this is one that we can both walk away with winners with if we, continue to play good and get into the playoffs and compete with whoever we face off with. But I think Josh Hart is going to fit the culture good. He's going to be a high IQ player, making the right decisions and right reads. And defensively, he's going to be another gritty body that we can use in New York in the Garden, trying to boost ourselves up in the Eastern Conference standings. So if you're a Knicks fan, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. All my Cam Reddish lovers out there, y'all let me know how excited y'all are for Cam Reddish to be going to Portland. Shout out to my boy D Mills. Y'all better take care of my boy Cam Reddish out there in Portland. Y'all turn on those notification bells. Y'all already know the more trades that happen, the more videos y'all going to get from me. This is NBA Weekly. I am Pee Wee the Plug. I will see y'all on the next trade. I'm out. Peace.